lesser known and B movies. Only two men can give it the justice they deserve. The Tragedy of Cinema proudly presents I Can't Believe That Was a Movie, starring Jimbo and legendary co-host Art Toast. All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo, and today I'm joined by none other than
Art Toast.
Art Toast in the house. And yes, it has finally come to the time where we kick off the news specials that we will be doing with Art Toast and myself. I Can't Believe That Was a Movie, where we review some of the lesser-known movies, some of the B movies, some of the really, really bad movies. But hey, they all deserve their little fame, if you will. So, before we get started with the one we chose for today, I have a question for my dad. Dad, and I think I know the answer to this because I might have to agree with you. What is the worst movie you have ever seen?
The worst movie I ever seen? Probably... One that sticks out in my mind, it's more of a recent one, I guess. Not one of the older ones, was the stupid Blair Witch Project.
The original one?
Yeah.
I remember I took you to the movies to see it. And
I thought that was the biggest waste of a movie I ever seen.
It's the scariest movie of all time. And we sat there and the whole movie was
I'm waiting for something to happen. They're stupid. All they had to do is walk one direction. They'd come into a Walmart sooner or later.
Well... You kind of fooled me with that one because I thought you would go with the great classic B movie, Santa Claus versus the aliens or Martians or whatever it is.
That's right up there. But
we might have to cover that on this. I can't believe that's
well, then you've got the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Whoa, that's a good one. That's a cult classic, though.
Well, I don't care what kind of classic it is. It's stupid.
So, as you can tell, this is going to be a little different than our normal episodes. It's probably going to be a lot more tongue-in-cheek, goofy. If you've listened to us long enough, you know how me and my dad get along, and we might go down a rabbit trail here or there as we talk about this stuff, which more than likely will, or we might go into a laughing fit for about 20 minutes. So just bear with us. We'll veer back onto the track at some point. So for the first, I Can't Believe That Was a Movie that I chose, was the great The Crawling Hand from 1963. And I had asked my dad, what was the name of the movie where there was a hand? All I can really remember before I watched this was the scene where the guy's in the car and the hand comes up over the thing, the back seat or whatever. That's all I could really remember of this movie. So I said, well, let's just cover this so I could watch it. So for those of you that are wanting to watch this, it's not on any streaming thing that I could find, but it is on YouTube for free if you can bear with the commercials, if you will, the ad breaks.
But I watched it today on there, and it got a little counter in the corner, and after 5 seconds you can hit skip and just skip it. So, but going back, I want to go back for a minute.
Oh, no.
Here goes a rabbit trail. He's talking about the famous scene of the hand coming up over the backseat of the car.
Yeah.
Well, it does in this movie, but what I remember, there's another one because it wasn't the boy that was in the car. It was a guy and had a hat on, and he's looking back over his shoulder and seeing the hand coming up over him. And but it is not in this movie, and I'm not sure what movie that was in. But that was a classic picture in the old monster magazines back in the day.
Did you ever subscribe to those, or did you just go buy them every week or every month?
They come out once a month. I'd get them up at the drugstore.
All right. So I guess I'll kick this off before I kick it to my dad for the cast. I just did the inflation, so let me write this down real quick. So here we go. The Crawling Hand, 1963. It's a story about the hand of a dead astronaut comes crawling back from the grave to strangle the living, which this has some plot holes in it, some big plot holes, which we'll talk about. But the director was Herbert L. Strock. The writers was Bill Idelson. He did the screenplay. as William Idelson for the original story. Also, Robert Malcolm Young did the original story. Joe Cranston, if those that don't know that, I believe that is the father of actor Bryan Cranston. You know him from Malcolm in the Middle and, of course, Breaking Bad. The producer was Joseph F. Robertson. The cinematographer was Willard Van Devere. Editor was Herbert L. Strock, and the casting director was Stephen R. Stevens. So Stephen Stevens. The budget for this film was only a measly $100,000 back in 1963. Adjusted for inflation, that would be a budget of $1,007,890. So about tenfold budget there. The release date was, of course, September 4th, 1963. Did you happen to go see this at the drive-in?
Yes, I did.
Did you? Was it a double feature, or was it?
No, it was at not the drive-in. It was at our local movie house. And it was probably a double feature, but I do not remember what else was on with it.
All right. A little bit about the technical details. We have the runtime of only 89 minutes, so it's a quick watch, hour and a half. Sound mix is mono. The color, it's a black and white movie. Aspect ratio is 1.85 to 1. The camera was the Artiflex cameras. Of course, the negative format back then was 35 millimeter. The process was spherical, and the printed format was 35 millimeters. The country of origin, of course, this was released in the United States. The filming locations was 2215 West 24th Street, Los Angeles, California, was one of the murder victims' house. Also, Jefferson Square in Los Angeles, California, was a murder victim's house. Cimarron Street at West 24th Street, Los Angeles, USA, was Paul's house, which was the same as the murder victim's house. Utter McKinley Mortuary, which is 11071 Columbus Avenue, Mission Hills, California, for the mortuary scene. And the Computer Division Center, the University of Southern California, Los Angeles, California, for the computer lab. What famous song is in this, Dad? Do you know? What song is playing on the jukebox?
I don't remember. I just watched
The Bird's the Word, by none other than the Rivingtons. So the bird is the word. So I thought that was very interesting. So let's go ahead and kick it over to Art Toast for the cast.
Well, for the cast, we have Peter Brett, plays Steve Curran. He was in a 1963 movie, Shock Corridor. He was also probably more famous known for The Big Valley. He played one of the sons of the Barclays. He was Nick.
You act like I care anything about Westerns.
Well, you ought to. You got to be kidding me. And then we have Kent Taylor playing Dr. Max Wisberg. He was in a 1940 movie, I'm Still Alive. Rob Lauren was in The Young Swingers. In 1963, he plays Paul Lawrence. Then we have Alan Hale Jr., known for Gilligan's Island.
Yep. The Skipper.
The Skipper. Allison Hayes played in 1958 Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Siri Stefan in the movie Hitler in 1962. Arlene Judge was Mrs. Hotchkiss, and she was in Sensational Hunters in 1933. Richard Aaron plays Lee Beringer. He was in The Island of Lost Souls in 1932. Have you ever seen that one?
I believe so.
I think
is that the silent one?
I don't know if it is. I think the one I've seen is Bela Lugosi was in it.
Lugosi, don't start.
It's my northern accent. Tristan Coffin was in The King of the Rocket Men in 1949, and he was a security chief. Then we have Stan Jones. He played in as the funeral director, and he was in...
I just picture the funeral director scene. It's pretty funny.
He was in the Transformers, the movie, in 1986.
The cartoon movie.
Was it the cartoon movie? Jock Putman played an ambulance attendant. He was in Sisters of Death in 1977. Andy Andrews was another ambulance attendant.
them two guys. We'll talk about them, but
he was in 1955, a movie called Battle Taxi. Sid Saylor, the soda shop owner, played in The Lost Jungle, 1934. And Edward Hermel was in The Unforeseen in 1958. Beverly Lunsford, she was in the movie called That Night in 1957. Les Hull was in a movie in 1970 called The Animals. And Ashley Cowan in The People's Choice, 1946. And Joseph F. Robertson, he was uncredited. He was the crawling hand. They should have just called him lefty or righty.
Which hand was it? Do you know? Was it the left hand or the right hand? Do you know? Let's see if you remember.
It was the right hand, wasn't
Right
it?
hand, yes. Very good. Are you done?
Yeah, there's plenty.
Okay.
That's it.
So,
This and here don't have nothing on it.
right. So this movie starts out with a bad astronaut, still almost in space with the credits going by and everything, and you have the main, I guess, scientist and his lackey. What was those two's name?
It was Steve was one of the scientists, and Dr. Max Wellensberg.
Right. So they're trying. They're waiting patiently to hear back from one of the recent ships that have went into space, and they don't understand because they've had a perfect takeoff, a perfect landing, a perfect re-entry into the atmosphere from wherever they landed. And then all of a sudden, like 9 hours later, they've lost communication. They haven't heard anything back. But everything was perfect up until that point. And so
They'd gone to the moon.
Right.
This is the second attempt, and the other one died also.
Right. So they're counting down the oxygen by minute or every 15 minutes, whatever it is. And he's in there with the secretary. They look, what are we supposed to tell the press? I got the press on the line. And he says, well, tell them every time we send them up there, we don't know what happens. They die. And she's like, well, sir, we can't make a comment at this time. Or whatever. So they're over there and they go into the doctor or the scientist and the Steve or whatever goes over and they're starting to talk to their boss. Like, look, what's happened? They said, look, we don't understand. Everything's perfect. And it just happens again. And he's telling them, he said, well, we're going back up. We got 4 more astronauts. I think it's 4.
Yeah.
That we're going to send them all back up at the same time, I think he said. Am I right so far?
Uh-huh. They went 9 hours without contact from this man also. And so they noted he's going to be running low on oxygen. And that's why they started that countdown when there was like 10 minutes left or something. Every 2 minutes they would give an update of how much time was left.
Yeah. So basically, the timer goes off. There's no oxygen or whatever, and all of a sudden they hear, "Anybody help? Can anybody hear me?" NASA control or whatever he's saying, and they look up and it's the astronaut on the screen, and they're like, "Yes, we can hear you." He's like, how long have you been without oxygen or whatever? He's like, 8 minutes or something.
He said 15 to 20 minutes with no oxygen.
And they're like, that's impossible. But you see he has the red eyes or the black eyes around his face, which prominent later on in the film. And he said, do it, blow it up. He's like, and they're like, well, just stop it or push the red button. He's like, I can't. It won't let me. He said, blow it up. Steve, you got to blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. And finally the scientist pushes the button and blows up. But they have recorded all this on one of those old
reel-to-reel
tapes. Yeah.
Also, he kept saying, kill, kill, kill.
Yeah.
And you'll know why, I guess, in a little bit on that.
So, from here, take it away.
Okay, there's some more little small talk and stuff like that there. But there's a diner and there's these two girls talking.
Do they have the pet rat on the table here?
Yeah, I had a because her dad's a scientist and she would come in the mail and she's taking it to him. But the diner, the kids was up there and they was dancing. He kept saying, "No dancing, no dancing." And then he looked and said, "No rats in here." But she started talking about this boy. He comes to the diner.
That's Paul.
Paul. We're going to go swimming. Now, I understand it's California, but she said, I can't, she's from Sweden, and I can't believe getting in the ocean this close to Christmas. So
and
is this considered a Christmas movie?
Oh, boy.
Huh?
I don't know.
Well, what happened at Christmas time?
I know.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No, we know this is not Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. So, but my question is, she's like,
Send your cards and letters
she goes,
still.
"Oh, I forgot my suit at home." He said, "But you said you were going to bring it with us. It's getting dark." And I'm like, but I guess the other girl's picking on her because she knows he's going to ask her to marry her or whatever. So,
well, they get to the beach and they change in their bathing suits.
but before that, doesn't the shop owner or whatever, doesn't he tell him, "Did you see that big explosion last night?"
Yeah.
He said there was a big explosion. He's like, "What's happening? You're all going to die."
Yeah, you're all going to die.
You know what that means? You're all going to die. You're all going to die.
And they're saying, "Oh, it was just a meteor and all that."
And is this where they end up before they go to the beach? Don't they go to her house
Go to the house so she can get her bathing suit
and run into her dad?
Yeah, he gets the rat. I think there's two rats.
Yeah, and he's talking to the rat or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. So we end up going to the beach, and of course they're running along the beach, but they get down there to the bottom, and they decide to change on the beach. Oh man! So the guy goes behind the one boulder, and she's on the other side of the boulder, and they're changing, whatever. And of course, there's some little crude humor here, if you will, about what she's asking Paul, "What does it mean when Mary or whatever it is said I was stacked or whatever?" Because he comes around the corner, he's like, "Wow!" He looks at her in her bikini or whatever, and she doesn't quite comprehend what's going on. I guess the repercussions of her wearing that. So they decide that they're going to go into the ocean. And do they actually make it into the ocean first?
They do go. They get in the ocean. It don't actually show them, but they come out wet. But as they're running toward the water, you see there's a little gauge stuck that come off of the spaceship, stuck in the sand.
That's right.
And they come back up and they pass that gauge again, and they're drying off.
Well, and they start kissing and everything, and basically flips her over, and she looks around, and she just starts screaming.
She falls in the sand, and when she looks up, guess what she sees?
The hand.
The hand.
It's not crawling yet.
No.
But it's in a spacesuit. You can tell with the space glove on. So presumably it's the astronaut that blew up part of his body. So
if you look real close at that scene, though, when he's getting ready to go over to look at it closer, you can see that fingers move just a little bit.
That's when he goes back to pick it up.
No, okay, yeah.
Remember at night. So he's like, "Oh, let me grab it. Let me put it in the trunk of my car." And she's like, "No, it would just creep me out too much." So she's like, "I just want to get out of here." So he ends up taking her home. And he ends up going back to, does he stay with Mrs. Hotchkiss? Is that what he got? Rents a room.
He got a
her?
room in there.
Yeah, so he has an upstairs room for Mrs. Hotchkiss, and but she's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, it's just me, Mrs. Hotchkiss." But he ends up going back down at some point and taking a raincoat and
it was a shower curtain.
Yeah, and
she rips it off
and goes down and throws it over the hand. But as he's going down, you can see his car up on the cliff, and as he's looking around, the hand and fingers the fingers and the thumb are moving. Pretty cool little effect there. So he puts the shower curtain around it, and he takes it and he sticks it. Gets back to Mrs. Hotchkiss, and he puts it on the second shelf of and covers it with some canned goods.
It's like a pantry.
Yeah. Oh man! So he goes up to his room, and next you see Mrs. Hotchkiss, and she's something else because she has this revolver. It looks like John Wayne. I mean, and I think it was her husband's, if we come to find out later on. But she
has a hair trigger.
Oh, hair trigger, yes. And she's having trouble sleeping or getting back to sleep. And the one thing I noticed is she has alcohol by her bed. She has pills by her bed. And then she takes some of those and she lays back down. And then she hears a noise. And she gets up, goes out to the kitchen.
The hand actually knocked a glass or a jar off of the shelf.
Right, a jam, because the cat goes over and eats it. But she goes out there and she doesn't see it. She said, I told that boy, he made a mess in here, told him to stay out of here, whatever. So she goes back in there. She lays down, and you see this hand coming up from the side of her pillow. And come to find out it's just her hand.
Well, prior to that, while she's in there cleaning that up, you see now how the hand get in there already in the bed, going in and out of the covers and the pillow or something.
Right, and it doesn't even have its glove on anymore.
No, it's this will be some comments later on in the movie of some weird things. That's why we can't believe it's a movie.
Right. But so she ends up laying back in bed, and she ends up getting up again and going over to this, pouring some more whiskey or something out of this bottle. And then she gets into her medicine cabinet above, and she has a ton of pills in there. I don't know if she's her own pharmacy or whatever, but she takes a couple of those and sits on the edge of the bed. And here it comes.
No, she's still standing. I think she's still standing, and because now this is what's crazy. The hand's on the floor, and somehow the hand leaps up to her throat and starts strangling her.
And she falls back on the bed.
And then falls off and hits the lamp.
And she goes to reach and she pulls like the lamp and the gun falls and goes off. And this wakes up Paul upstairs because he's already trying to sleep. And he comes running downstairs. He's like, Mrs. Hotchkiss. And he goes in there and he sees her on the floor dead, which is, here's one of my pet peeves. Her eyes are open here when she's presumably dead. Here in a minute when Paul goes out and calls the cops and comes back, her eyes are closed. And then when we'll get there, they're open again at another point. So Paul decides to call the cops. He calls the sheriff and gets Alan Hell.
The skipper.
Yeah, the skipper. And says, look, really, he's like, don't touch anything. First rule, goes to touch something. But he says, don't touch anything. He's like, stay close to the house. And he gets off the phone and he says, hey, call my wife. Tell her I'll probably be out all night. We're going to have to fingerprint the whole place and all that. So as they're on their way, Paul can't help himself. He goes into the room and he finds a piece of the spacesuit. Correct?
Yeah.
And he puts it in a book titled Space Something by Dr. So-and-so. He puts it in there. Which, they never came back to that.
No. Well, that may have been the name because he tries to make the long-distance call.
Yeah, to Victor Holgebagen or something.
That Dr. Weltzberg, I get. Yeah. And here's another cool thing that this hand can do. While he's on the phone, it's climbing up the banister. Now, number one, how does he know where it's going?
But no,
do you have eyes in his fingers?
No, I don't think he's calling them yet because he goes to make the call and
the police
they show
comes.
up and they start interviewing him and all that, and he's like, and did you notice how Skipper's holding the gun? He's holding it by the barrel like this as he's talking. I'm like, number one, you're not supposed to be touching evidence for one, and he said they're holding it by the barrel of the gun and just shaking it. And I'm like, okay, if it has a hair trigger on it, why are you going to be holding it like this, first of all? So they go back and they go to the kitchen, and, Alan Hell kind of has his suspicions about the kid. The sheriff has a suspicion of him, and he's telling him, he said, look, you sure you don't want to go anywhere? We can take you to my house so you're not alone. And he's like, no, I want to stay. And so they said, yeah, my mom always said a cup of warm milk and took 2 of these pills, and you'll be gone here in a little bit. Have a good night's sleep. So it's okay. So they end up leaving. And you can tell that they fingerprinted him because he's got the black stuff all over his fingertips. So then
he's wanting to search the house because he went back there and seen that the hand was gone.
Right. And so, but he's taking this medicine now, so he gets the idea to call Dr. whatever, because the sheriff had already called in the coroner. The coroner's on their way. Them 2 guys, which we'll get to in a minute. But So he starts calling long distance Dr. Wolf's Guard or whatever, and the hand starts calling up and all that, and he's starting to fade. You can tell he's starting to get woozy, tired or whatever, and the hand jumps on his throat. And no, he doesn't. He trips him. Doesn't the hand trip him?
No, I think he comes off he climbs up the banister, then he's on the thing, and when he starts to hang up the phone, it gets on his throat and he falls.
I know at some point that the hand trips. Oh, that's at the end, I think, when he's in the junkyard.
Yeah. Then he somehow manages. Well, you hear the sirens coming, and I guess the hand's got ears too because it lets go of him and crawls off.
Crawls away. And so you have these two idiots, as I like to call them. The two corner guys pull up, and they're here to get Mrs. Hotchkiss. And they go in there, and they go, hey, you think she's got any beer? He's like, oh, yeah, a broad like this always has beer in the fridge. He's like, why are you always talking me into doing stuff I don't want to do? So they put her on the ground. He put the sheet up, and next thing you see Paul laying there on the ground, and they're coming through, and like, see, I told you she'd have beer. And they're like, oh, look. They said, what's this? Is it we need to call somebody? And they said, oh, he's still alive. They go over and check him, and he's still alive.
Well, the one that he said, let's get out of here. We don't need to stay here. We're going to leave him just lay there.
So he said, go get the other gurney. So now in the back of this, presumably a hearse, more like an ambulance, if you will. They got him on one side, and they got Mrs. Hotchkiss on the other side, whose eyes are now still open. Yeah. They were closed. And so he ends up waking up while they're driving and starts screaming because he looks over and sees Mrs. Hotchkiss, and he jumps out of the back of the hearse or whatever and starts running. And presumably you don't see him anymore until the next morning. So
he comes back to the house, and the sheriff's sitting there waiting on him.
He's like, hey, where you been? He's out of breath and everything. I was like,
you're sweating.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I just went for a walk. He said it must have been a pretty rough walk. Oh, man. So he questioned, and this is where Alan Hill, I think, is really getting suspicious of him. He said, hey, well, I had a coroner call me and tell me this crazy story that you jumped out of the back of the thing or whatever. And he denies it or whatever. I can't even ask the question yet. So anyway, he's like, well, you're going to stay here. We're going to put my deputy out here in front of the house, and you go upstairs and you need to get some rest because it looks like you haven't slept all night. Now, in between, somewhere in here, we cut back to Steve and the scientist.
Yeah.
And they have heard, because the fingerprints came through, that there was a medallion on Hotchkiss's body that had a fingerprint that is undeniable because it has a scar going down the middle of it, and it is 100% matched to what was the astronaut's name? I can't think of his name.
I don't know.
But it matched that astronaut 100%. And they said, how can this be? So they end up trying to persuade the head of their boss, the head of NASA, whatever, if you will, to, hey, let us go out there and see what's going on out there because, hey, it's not going to be anything to you if we're wrong. There's no fault if it's nothing. He said, well, what do I tell the press? He said, I'll just make up something. He said, fine, go out there. You guys better get leaving. So these two are concerned that they don't know what's going on, but they don't know why their astronauts' fingerprints are on a murder scene.
They're finding, because they got this like a Geiger counter thing that's they're coming back from space, from the cosmic rays or radiation that shows up on that. Which that had come in play later on.
Actually, it comes into play before this because the one guy goes to turn in his resignation, and he said, "Hey, have you met Frank the Rat here or whatever?"
Yeah.
And he said, he was the first one in space. He came back, and he's got this. They put the Geiger counting on him, and they say, "Well, he's got thoughts and feelings that aren't his own." And he's like, "That's what I'm saying." Then he rips up his.
That's why he said, "I can't put no other rats in there with him because he don't know if he'll turn on them." And
right, so he ends up ripping up his resignation. That's when they end up going out to Palms, California.
Then we go back, and Steve, Paul, is up in the bedroom, and he gets out that little reel-to-reel recording, and he tells the story of what had happened.
Well, he tells. Was her name Paula? What's the Swedish girl's name?
Donna.
Yeah. So he tells
Donna.
her. He says, I'm going to tell you, Donna, and I'm going to tell. I guess it's her dad who he's talking. He said, because you're the only two that are going to believe me. So he starts telling the story, and he never really gets out what he's really trying to say, but he finally completes it. And then he throws it on the ground and stomps on it and smashes it. And I'm like...
Well, he starts shaking a little bit and all that, and there's a transformation coming here.
Well, I think he was going in and out of consciousness, too, because he was trying to get it out before he fell asleep, too, it looked like. So this is where he ends up looking up, and he has those dark eyes under his under his eyes.
Looks like a real bad zombie makeup. Just black rings,
just like two black eyes.
Yeah. And he does that, and he just breaks the tape recording up and all that. And
yeah, but he's still under watch. And at some point, when Steve and the scientists get out there, they try to go to see the sheriff, and he's like, "Look, you're not allowed near that house. It's our jurisdiction. The FBI's coming." So they drive out there anyway, and the deputy's like, "Hey, look, you can't be here." And Paul in the window says, "Hey, come back tonight." Or he said, "Come around back." So they go around back, and he throws a note out to him. It says, "Hey, come back at night, and the door will be open. The back door will be open." And the police comes around the corner and he says, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" He draws his gun and everything as they speed away.
But the thing of it is, while he's out back, his girlfriend walks in the front door. And so then Steve comes downstairs and he's hollering at her, "Get out, get out. Don't ever come back.
Don't ever let her come back."
Yeah.
Don't ever let her come back. She's like, "Steve, I don't understand." So he gets her out of there. Night comes, and the Steve and the scientist end up going in the back with the Geiger counter. But have they went to Mrs. Hotchkiss yet? Or is that after this?
I don't know if that was before this.
I think it's before this, ain't it?
It might have been.
No, yeah, because they told them they can't go. The sheriff says they can't go to the house, so they end up going to the mortuary, and we're long lost brothers. We're our rough friends. We just found out. He's like, "Well, where are you guys from?" One says New York, and one says Chicago. And he's like, "Oh, he's from Chicago. I'm from New York."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, we heard, we flew out here, and we want to pay our respects." And the mortician or whatever is going through this spill about, she looks really good. He's like, "Yeah, so." And we've got a train coming through here, so it's either an ambulance by our house or a train out here at our toast place. But so if you hear a little horn or anything, that's what that is. So he pulls out the Geiger counter and he starts going over the body, and it's going. And the mortician goes, "What's that thing?" The one guy goes, "Oh, it's to ward off evil spirits." So. The one guy doesn't even look. He's just like, "Oh yeah, looks good. She looks good." And they leave, and he turns off the light and leaves. But was it not even a ceremony or anything? It was just
they were seeing if she had anything.
I know what they were doing, but was she getting ready for her showing? Was it past her showing? Did nobody care to go to her showing?
They probably just got her prepared, and the showing was that night.
Something else. So. Okay, I'm going to go down a rabbit trail here. So, Dad, when your grandpa died, your mom's dad, and I don't know if I ever told you this story, but we had it at that Flannery Buchanan right there off of Man Road, right?
Yeah.
And me and Uncle Mike, we were walking around the funeral home, right? And we end up going into this back room, and there's like coffins on the thing, and then there's some coffins out here, and there's like some that are set up. And I'm walking around looking, and there's this one that has like parchment paper over the face of what I presumed was a dummy. So I went over there and I lit it up, and the funeral director comes in, he says, can I help you? I said, oh, yeah, we're just looking around. He's like, oh, yeah, well, that's Mr. So-and-so. He's about ready to go to the next room. So I was over playing with the dead body. I didn't even know it. And did you ever know it? Did I ever tell you? Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I was like, after that, I was done. I was like, I'm just going to go out here and sit down because I can't handle anything more than that.
You see what comes out on a podcast on B movies?
I know. Man, you're going to ground me. So I can't believe that was a story either. So okay, back to the movie.
The two guys come back at night, and they
yes.
They go in there,
the Geiger counter, and,
over the shelves,
and he's like, "Oh, look, it's here." Oh, but wait, Steve, look, it's crawling up the. It's going higher. It's crawling up the wall. It's on the ceiling. What kind of dead person can be on the ceiling or whatever? And then follows it, and I think Paul comes down. And he said, let him move first. And he said, shine the light on him. So they shine the light on his face. He's got the two sunken eyes. And he goes running past, or he gets in a little fight with them.
Yeah, he attacks him at first.
Right, and he ends up flipping up in the air, and he runs out the door. And as they go out the door, the deputy's there. Says, get back in there. I said, didn't you see him? And he's like, no. Did he not see him?
No, that's part of the... That's why there's not an A.
Well,
it's a B movie.
Well, I didn't know if he disappeared. Is it something they can do?
I just think it was just a filler in there. We didn't want to make the movie no longer what it had to be.
So I mean, literally seconds after Paul runs out the door, these two run out, and the sheriff deputy tells them to get back inside. So Paul takes off, and the other two get, the sheriff comes and says, you're not going to believe this. We got these two, and they take him, put him in the car. But Paul ends up going to Donna's house, and Donna's like, I don't know.
He goes to the diner first.
Right.
And
I like that diner guy. He did a really good job.
Real good. He's in there cleaning up, sweeping up. And so he comes in there behind him, and he attacks him, knocks the light out too, and he starts choking him over the jukebox. And he goes all the way down to the floor, and he gets
got
mop.
like the broom handle.
Yeah, holding it over his throat and all this here. And for whatever reason, he gets up and takes off again.
Well, he turned back. He didn't understand what he was doing.
I thought the guy was already dead, but
I did too. Somehow he survived.
Yeah, and but he just looks at him.
He does the old put his hand in his mouth like, I'm scared of you, So he took off running. Oh, man. So then he ends up going to Donna's house, and Donna's there, and she's like, look, I don't understand. It's not the Paul I knew. It was him, but it's not him. Something's wrong with him. She's telling her dad, and the sheriff's daughter's there, which is like her friend that you come to find out. And they go downstairs and they say, well, we're going to go eat. And she's like, I'll eat with you. And the other said, I'll just stay up here. And Paul comes to the window, and you just see the hand tapping on the window. Then you see Paul's face, which they do a really good job of that sometimes with using just a hand, where you think it's just the hand, but then it's actually attached to somebody. But
actually, usually the hand is somebody else's in the movie than just the crawling hand, it seems like, in a lot of it, especially in the middle parts.
Yep. So he comes in and he says, look, I don't know what to tell you. He said, I want to tell you the truth. He said, I'm losing control. I'm losing a little bit more of me each and every. I think he could have done a better job of explaining what's happening because he doesn't really know. I was even confused with what he's trying to tell her, and I'm like, how is she going to know what he's trying to tell? He's like, I'm losing part of myself, and I got to go away. You can never see me again, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, I told you I'd stay. I would marry you. I'm not really going back to Sweden this summer. I told you I'd stay. And he ends up, and he ends up, I'm losing. And he goes over to like the vanity, I guess, with her mirror, makeup, and all that on there. And he puts his hand on his head. And when he comes back up, he's got the black eyes again. So we've transformed once. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And she screams, and he goes over there and starts choking her. And here comes her dad and Donna's friend.
He runs off out the window.
Right. And that was kind of weird, too. He didn't jump out the window or anything. Did he unlatch it again and get out easily? I don't know. But he takes off. And now that he's back wherever, I guess at the house.
He goes back to the house, but he's normal again.
He's normal,
right
and he decides that he is going to get the hand, and he wraps it up in like a T-shirt or something.
Well, he's looking through the house, and here's where he goes and he opens up a closet door, and on the top shelf is the hand, and it falls out or jumps
Into
out
a laundry basket.
into a laundry basket, and he covers it up. What kind of crawl up there, open the door, crawl back down to the floor, to crawl in the closet, crawl back up, close the door, and then...
Well, the light probably hurt his eyes. If you said he had ears earlier, why can't he have eyes too?
He probably heard him coming in the house.
Right.
It just don't. It's a hand,
right? So he grabs it and does a good job of struggling with it. I think he made it look really good, and he ends up putting it in the trunk of his car. And I don't know where's he taking it. It never. I mean, I know where they end up, but is he going to smash it in the junkyard?
Well, I think so. He's taking it. I think that's where he was headed, and that's where he's in the car. The hand gets out of the basket and he climbs up the back of the seat.
Yep. And
but they're already at the junkyard when it jumps on him because he gets out of the car.
But in the meantime, you have the deputy, the sheriff, and the two, Steve and them, because they've arrested them. They got a lot of explaining to do. And so they got a thing that said, hey, look, they pull up to the house and his car's gone. And he said, I'm going to go in and look around. The sheriff did. I was like, why are you looking around? The car is gone. So he goes in there. He checks where Mrs. Hotchkiss was. He goes up to the part of the stairs and he yells, Paul. He doesn't even go upstairs to look see if he's dead or something. He just yells, Paul. And so he walks back out and he says, look, you stay here in case he comes back. And he said, well, we got a 20 on him going down such and such road. So he jumps in and said, well, we'll go after him, scoots over. So he's got the two guys in the back seat with him. They take off chasing him. They end up in a junkyard, which... So Paul pulls up, gets out, and...
well, he's got the thing on his neck.
They're fighting.
Yeah.
And somehow he takes off his jacket or whatever and wraps it around there and throws it on the ground or whatever. And as he's walking away, the hand trips him. Oh, man. There's so much wrong with this movie. And then why do we have just cats out there? It's like Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris fighting. You have a cat. The good, the bad, and the ugly cat. He ends up breaking a bottle and starts stabbing it. Well, by this time, the sheriff rolls up, and he's standing there, and he's got the bottle in his hand. And he's like, the sheriff's like, Paul, put it down, don't make me, or I'll shoot you or whatever. And Steve's like, don't shoot him. You don't want to do something stupid. He said, he's already a murderer. So he's already convicted the guy in his mind because he has no other plausible explanation. So something happens and Paul faints, passes out.
Well, down here, the hand is over there, and you got these two cats fighting, and they're over there eating on this hand. Now, why in the world we can kill grown men, but we can't choke a cat?
Well, it had been stabbed.
Yeah, it had been stabbed. He's licking its blood and chewing on it and all that. But I think what happened when he faints, I think that the hand must have died. Well, and that's what released.
Well, here's my question. Did the hand die, or did it transfer itself to the cat?
Well,
for a sequel,
did it really die? Because
wait,
we got to wait.
Yet.
We're not at the end. We may not even tell you the end.
Oh, we will, because it's so terrible. We have to. So, Paul ends up passing out, and the next they go over there and they get the hand. I think Steve ends up seeing the hand and grabs it. So the next scene is you see Paul in the hospital, and Steve comes up and says, "Yeah, it's a good thing that you ran 104 temperature because even aliens must not can tolerate that or whatever, and that's why it must have drove it out or whatever."
And we run the Geiger counter over.
Yeah, and there's no sign. So Donna comes in and she's like, "Can I see him?" He's, "Oh yeah, I guess a little bit. It'll help his spirits or whatever." And then you got the sheriff over there, just happy as could be. Hey, like, hey, I almost shot you, or you think you murdered somebody. So they said, and he said, "Hey, we'll never see that thing again, right?" He's like, "Yeah, it's already locked in a steel box, and it's going to be flown to Arizona or Washington, and you'll never see it again." So who do they get, of all people, who do they get to entrust this alien arm to?
The two Laurel and Hardy, ambulance drivers.
Ambulance drivers are going to take it, and they've got this steel box locked up and have a padlock on it. And the one guy's like, hey, I kind of wish I could know what was in here because, they're making such a big deal. And the other guy's like, oh, not me. I don't want anything to do with it. He said, well, don't you want to take a peek? And he's like, well, it's too bad it's all locked. He said, I got a key. So here we go. The ending of the movie. The guy opens up the lock and the camera goes in and it says,
guess what's in there?
The end. Literally, it says the end. But did you notice that it's empty?
Right. But I think that was just the purpose of having the black for the end.
Yeah. So
now you know.
I found a couple of things for this movie, so hold on to your horses.
Oh, did you give any awards?
I don't think there was any awards. It was so bad it didn't even get a Razzie. All right. So, Dad, I'm going to see if you know. This actor screen tested twice for the role as teen character Paul Lawrence, but reportedly performed so woodenly that he was not chosen. Do you know who it was?
I have no idea.
Burt Reynolds. Can you see Burt Reynolds doing it? I could have went at least Michael Landon. The Utter McKinley Strother Mortuary, where Curran and Wutzburg view the body of Mrs. Hotchkiss, either is or is named after the mortuary where the funeral of Bela Lugosi was held in 1956. So there you go. It's the final film as Sid Sailor. Co-written by Joe Cranston, father of actor Bryan Cranston, which we had talked about it earlier. The setting of this film is in Palms, California. The name Palms is possibly a tongue-in-cheek reference to the film's title character. Here you go. I don't know if you ever had this, but on the desk of Security Chief Meidel are models of Revels Convair space shuttlecraft and XSL-01 spaceship, and above it is the Moonship model. Also a coin bank that looks like a rocket. This rocket coin bank is seen on Steve's desk and also in other movies. The XSL-01 is somewhat of a holy grail among model hobbyists, being that it is a rare kit and hard to find. Did you ever have?
No. You going to look for one?
No. And it's always a B movie when it got roasted by Joel and the boss of Mystery Science Theater 3000 in Season 2, Episode 1 of December of 1989. There is a lot of stuff in here about the different stuff, subtitles that are wrong, so I'm not even going to go past all this. This is the final film of Arlene Judge. And as of 2023, a 1982 promo of this film airing on Sana Svengoolie from 1978 for now defunct WKBS Channel 48 in Philadelphia can be found on the YouTube. And this says this, but I don't think I saw it when I was watching. It says, when the hand first appears in Mrs. Hotchkiss' bed, it's a right hand with the thumb to the left. The second time, it's a left hand. Only one hand was retrieved from the beach. So I don't know if I agree with that situation or that statement.
I didn't know if it was right or left. Or.
All right, Father, give me your ratings and reviews of fillings of The Crawling Hand.
Well, The Crawling Hand is a must see at least once, just for laughs. It's they make too much out of the hand of walking on the ceiling and up things, jumping off the floor. I know it's supposed to be, I guess, from these cosmic rays and all that there. But being what this is, I can't believe it's a movie, is I would give this here, out of 5 stars, I would give it a 2.
So out of 10, you're giving it a 4? Is that what you're saying?
Well, how do you want to guess?
We do it out of 10.
I guess. I would guess out of 10 it'd be a 4. So I went with a 1, and then that way it would have been a 2 out of 10.
Oh, you could have given it 4 fingers, but not the thumb.
I couldn't go, if we go on 10, if I was going to give it a 7, and if I only had one hand, I wouldn't be able to show you how many fingers. Anyhow, out of 5, I'd give it a 2.
But out of 10, how many are you giving it?
Well, out of 20, I would be.
Well, I don't know. So I was just saying,
So what kind of scale do you want?
Do you not listen to the podcast every week?
This is a B podcast.
Well, that doesn't mean I'm going to being note the 10 scale we use.
Oh, so you're going to do a 10 scale?
Yes.
I'll give it a 4 then.
That's what I'm saying. A 2 out of 5
that's
is the same
fine.
as a 4 out of 10.
I'll have to adjust all my thinking to
Really? It's not that hard.
1 to 10. I'm going to tell your mom.
All right.
As Kyle would say, well, Jimbo, what's your feelings on this?
Man.
This is on a scale of 1 to 10, okay.
My first instinct is is it just anybody he comes in contact with, they get the zombie eyes and all that?
Evidently.
So Mrs. Hotchkiss could come back?
No, she's dead.
Well, I know she's dead. So is the astronaut.
But could his girlfriend? Because
Right.
Well, it wasn't the hand, it was him.
But is it because? But he still had the.
And I think it must have been the hand, because then you got the diner guy coming back.
That's what I'm saying.
And then you have the sequel of The Night of the Living Dead. See how we can tie all. See how you can tie all the.
You're really stretching it here. But that was one part that was confusing. I wish they would have said that a little bit more. I guess they tried to a little bit with the rat, a little bit. Paul did a good job, I think, in this movie for what he was given with. Definitely, I just think there was too many loose ends to make it good. Like, I don't know how the sheriff just automatically went from, hey, we'll find out who did this, we're taking fingerprints, and we have fingerprints of somebody else, but yeah, you're our main suspect because you're the only one that could be, to I'm going to shoot you in the junkyard, to, oh, we're all happy now in the hospital. So that was a little far out there. The guys, the two idiots, the coroners or whatever they are, they were kind of funny in this.
Probably the best part.
Probably. That or the guy when he goes to the mortuary with the Geiger counter. That's a pretty funny scene too. But, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. Is it a good movie? Probably not. Is it worth watching? Sure, it's worth watching. I've seen a lot worse movies that I wouldn't recommend, which we may be talking about one here soon. So, yeah, I'd say at least give it one. I'd probably give it, probably around 4.5 out of 10. It's just something that stuck with me since I was a kid. So obviously it had an effect on me that I remembered it. So there you have it. That's our first episode of the I Can't Believe That Was a Movie, where we covered B movies and lesser known movies. Maybe even some more mainstream movies that are just terrible that we think they're B movies or should have been B movies. So,
well, you can take movies today and say, I can't believe that's a movie.
You're telling me. As you stated, the Blair Witch Project, which means we're probably going to get hate mail from the audience because some of them love that movie. Thanks a lot, Art. Direct all your hate mail to Art Toes.
Care of a Tragedy of Cinema.
So, until next time, boy, you think this was a barn burner. You wait till the next episode 2 of I Can't Believe That Was a Movie. So, Dad, would you like to tell the audience what movie you chose?
Oh, this is a classic. It's the robot versus the Aztec mummy. Raise your hand if you've seen that.
And let me tell you, it's just as bad as it sounds, if not worse, because Dad, did you know that right there, the robot versus the Aztec mummy, was actually the third in a trilogy?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's stock footage they use at the beginning from the other two movies, the Aztec mummy and something else I have in my notes. And I'm like, no wonder this didn't make sense at all.
Well, good night. We'll have to go back and watch all them.
Stop. Well, with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut.